All right, guys, so we are 1 week past my Gold Cup wreck. The Gold Cup weekend was great. I really enjoyed it. It was a great experience, and the track was really, really good. I really just learned that I tried to cut that last turn like you can do at Richmond, and I should have just railed around the turn and then tried to beat people on the straightaway, and don't try to win the race from last place, necessarily. Anyway, so today is an important day because we've been running these carbon fiber forks now for probably a few months, and they've done great, but this is the second accident and the most major accident that they've been through. So I need to pull the front end of the bike apart, but let's take a quick look at the bike, which is right over there. Take a quick look at it, see what kind of damage I sustained from the wreck, and then we'll pull the front end apart, check the forks for any cracks, stress cracks, any wear and tear, because it's also just, it's good to check them anyway, since they're full carbon steer tube, and so I want to make sure that nothing's degrading or rubbing or do anything weird. So let's get to that part now. All right, so overall the bike did really well. Nothing on the back end was hurt. I got a little bit of a rip. I think this little rip on my seat was from wrecking. I'm not too worried about that. This thing always comes off. That just bothers me. I'm picky about that. Let's see here. But the biggest thing, so we've got up here, got a little mark on that side from where it just rubbed on the ground. And I had a different mark on this side from where I wrecked a couple weeks back at VMP. Man, look at that. That's not from the wreck. That's from my brake cable just rubbing up against the frame horribly. The biggest thing that I noticed, well, and my grip got pushed in, the grip end came out a little bit, so it's all goofy. I need to change grips anyway, but this is the biggest thing I noticed. If you can see this, see if this is in camera shot, but the forks are straight and the bars are not. You see that? So straight bars, twisted forks, straight forks, twisted bars. So when I see something like that, it's not only just a good practice to double check everything after a major wreck, but it makes me wonder, did the stem just slide on that steer tube? Is it, did the forks twist? You know, I want to go through the front end, and it's also time to just kind of pull them apart and check, since these are new to me forks. I've never ridden carbon fiber before ever in my life, and so I want to test these out and just double check, give them a once over, and it's good to grease everything up anyway, because bike maintenance is key, kids. All right, let's get to it. This thing's like super tight in here. And I mean, one of the things I've noticed, and I've had problems getting this bearing set up and headset set up to actually be tight in here, but not be tight steer. I mean, you can see this doesn't really move all that well. I've had to tighten it down because I felt like it was pivoting back and forth. So that's another thing I want to look at in here. But yeah, I mean, these should fall out, and they're not falling out. All right, so let's wipe some of this grease off of here. Not that there's a whole bunch on there, but and see what we can see. It's pretty clear that there's a line right here and a line right here, but there's this little rib on the side, the seam, if you will, and I don't see that that's rubbed in, so I don't see any indentions. It just shows me that this is where the components were sitting based on the headset size. This has a little bit of an indentation right here. And what I'm not sure of is that just an imperfection in the manufacturing of this, like the tolerances of having it perfectly round since it is a fiber material. I'm not sure. But you can see like under here, you see the dirt and grime. Like that's just good stuff to get out. I got to take this bearing off and then I'll clean that stuff out. That's from going to the trails and riding dirt tracks and doing all that stuff. All right, well, let's clean it up further. I might take these up to Powers and just see if he can take a peek at it and double check it before I go and put it all back together and try and race it next weekend. I'm gonna take this wheel off though, because I want to look at the inside of all these forks as well. All right, so bearing is still in really good shape. It's nice and smooth. Definitely set that back over there. Yeah, a little bit of just grime and dirt off this bearing race. I guess I could probably pop the bearing race off too, and maybe I'll do that. Clean the whole thing. Go 100%. All right. Yeah, that's mostly just a little bit of grease from putting it together. I ain't worried about that. So I'm gonna wipe these down. I'm gonna just spray with a little bit of soap and water, clean them up, and then we'll take a look at the actual forks and see if we can see any issues. All right, so I went and cleaned them off, and I'm in the shade just to try and not have as much reflections, but you know, they really look good. I don't see anything that's really striking. I've got this mark that's down here. Let's see if you can see that. Yeah, kind of a little white line right there, and that seems like it's just a scratch. It doesn't seem like it's deep in there. They don't ping or make noises if you tap them or anything like that. But again, I don't really know what I'm looking for with carbon fiber. Now, these are made, obviously, in the same factory and place as another major brand that has this big shoulder design. And the only difference is the majority of this steer tube is carbon. So apparently it's got a little bit of aluminum here at the bottom, but then it's wrapped in carbon. So the joint is aluminum, and then this piece here is carbon. And then obviously your tube that goes in, this has some aluminum in it as well for the threads. So it's, you know, even though it's lighter, like it's half a pound lighter, I believe, when I did the measurements and weights on it, but they're made to stand up. This is not like a brand new product that's just coming out. So they're made to stand up to some kind of beatings. But like, I don't know if you can see that. There's a little line. Let me see if I can get that on the camera. There's like a little line right there. Those are the things that kind of concern me a little bit. Can you see that right there? Oh yeah, it's like got the white underneath it. Anyway, those are the things where I'm like, maybe I'll just get somebody who's used to this stuff to check it out. Plus, I need some different tires for my trails bike. But hopefully he's open today. I can take these up, get Chad to look at it, and I can put the bike back together. Poof! Just like that, it's back together. Thank you, Chad Powers. So I did go up to the shop, I checked it over, got Chad to take a look at everything. He also found out why the headset was rubbing and felt really stiff sometimes. There's a little rubber gasket that's like attached to this washer cup that sits at the very bottom in between the cup and the frame. I think it's a dust cover maybe. Anyway, that was what was rubbing, so everything else was fine, everything else was straight in terms of washers and spacers and all that stuff. So he just pulled that out, and now they move they move freely, so that's exciting. So we'll get to race with a nice freshly redone headset. It's probably not accurate. Anyway, bike's back together. We're gonna take it for a spin in the neighborhood and see how she does. Still gotta fix this grip, but I'm probably going to put my new grips on there anyway. I also picked up 2 new tires for my trails bike. So I got a main line for the front and some other tire for the back. I don't need anything fancy, but I did want 2.1s. Currently it's got 2.4s on it. They just seem so big to me since I'm used to riding a 195. You go from 195 to 2.4. It's pretty much like riding a fat boy tire to me. So got some 2.1s, put those on, and then that way this weekend, whether we're riding trails, got a bike that's set up and dialed, we're riding racing, got this and the cruiser that are set up and dialed. So I'm feeling good, I'm feeling ready. I do want to get on the track later on this week ahead of actually racing, so I can see how things feel just going closer to speed. I may be just starting off the Sprint Block 3000 up at the gate, and we'll see how it goes. That's it for right now. Thanks for checking this one out. We'll catch you guys hopefully at the Rumble in Richmond, or the Flat Pedal Pro-Am, or at the trails, or somewhere around on your bike having a blast. That's it. Peace.